right here could have put, boom, I do not owe Wells, I think, because this is not the one I sent him, but I think it's in the other one, Fargo Bank. I'm spelling that wrong. You see why I don't like answering emails? See how bad I type? NA, and then I will put, okay, any monies. Well, I do not owe, make that a capital S, and put the law firm here. Oh, what did I do here? Any monies. Because you'll see why this is important in the next recording. Then I had the conclusion where I put down, they tried to take his money. Why did this do that? Oh, I know what I did. All right, let me fix this real quick. Undo typing, I inserted that. Also, he was damaged financially, socially, and emotionally. So that's what should have been an affidavit before, because you'll see why that's important. So any questions on that? And then, before we get to those questions, you give them a stipulation, that declaration, 15 days from verifiable receipt of the motion. We had to fix this. This is an answer. Answer to summary judgment. That's why I'll be telling y'all, you better proofread the stuff that y'all get. There'll be mistakes, but all this went in right. Answer to summary judgment. That's what that should have said. An order shall be prepared and submitted to the court for ratification unless prior to that time, Markov Law, LLC, and the attorney rebut all articles 1 through 5, and that should be 1 through 8 now. Of my affidavit, why is it 1 through 8? Because that's how many is there, 1 through 8 articles there. Of my affidavit by and through a competent fact witness making their statement under penalty of perjury, supporting all the rebutted articles with evidence which would be admissible at trial and sets the matter for hearing. Then you got, of course, do your certificate of service there. This is the whole guideline. So you really, all you have to do is take this guideline, insert your information, make some adjustments. Of course, the case law that I'm using in some of this is from Florida. So you would have to find case law from your state to use. These RICO charges that I put in here, because that's what the RICO statutes right there. You can keep that in there. But where it says Florida statutes, and Florida statutes does have racketeering, illegal debts, offenses. Some states, I'm sure the other states have them, I just haven't dealt with too many states to say which ones exactly. Eddie must have got knocked out. All right, let's go to the recording. Let me share the screen again. I'm gonna play it. I want to make sure y'all could hear it. Let's do new share, music, share.
Are expanding, and we'll find.
All right, could y'all hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Fargo is the original creditor, the original lender, and we attached to the affidavit signed by Wells Fargo in the motion in support of the motion for summary.
Y'all know this is a different attorney, right? This is the same case, but that's a different attorney. Y'all notice that? Why do y'all think they got a new attorney in there? Can somebody kind of figure out why they put a new attorney in there?
The dude got chewed up.
He got chewed up, but he lied in open court.
Yeah, I was just about to say that he lied.
Right.
He perjured himself. They got rid of him.
Right. He perjured himself. So now she's saying that they are the original creditor, but in that complaint, it says the records they verify is the debt collector's records. This case is not an original case, but this attorney is saying that, showing that she doesn't know the history of this case. But let's go ahead.
Summary judgment, the credit card application and agreement that Mr. Thompson signed on December 13, 2011. We had also submitted to the court the terms and the disclosures applicable to the credit card, as well as the statement showing the amount due. I read the affidavit that he filed. He raised some issues. Other than standing, the other issue I believe that Mr. Thompson raised was the fact that he says he didn't receive any proof. But I mean, we have provided the disclosures and the statement. And he's also saying about an illegal garnishment. The issue is that the judgment had been entered before and garnishment started, and then the judgment was set aside. Because there wasn't.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, please don't interrupt.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
There was an order setting aside the final judgment because there was an issue at the hearing about the appearance, and the judge decided that I believe that there was an order setting aside, so then we have to reset it. So I don't believe that any of the issues that he's raising are, objections to this debt. I don't see any facts stating that he's paid off or that there's any sort of dispute as to the amount due. So the amount that we're seeking, Judge, is $8,284.49 as the principal. We're asking for $750 as a flat fee for attorney's fees, $43.50 for the service of process, and $315 for the filing of the complaint. And the total for the final judgment would be $9,392.99. And under Section 21 of the disclosure that we attached, Wells Fargo is entitled to collecting reasonable fees and costs.
Okay, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, ma'am. It never was a garnishment until the attorney, Henry Johnson.
It doesn't matter. You don't need to address that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Other than that, okay. Now, the court knows that for a motion for summary judgment is not a trial based on affidavits. They didn't provide no fact witness, no sworn affidavit, no basic essential fact elements did Wells Fargo, Nadapor provide. So on that alone, I moved the court to dismiss their proposal for summary judgment and grant my counter motion.
Okay, let me just explain to you. Okay. With the four corners of their complaint,
okay,
and their attachments, okay, all of those are things that the court considers on a motion for summary judgment.
Right.
Okay, so clearly what they are attaching is, number one, your credit card application, they're saying that is your signature, that you did take out. And I'm not asking you to comment on it. I'm just telling you what the court is looking at. You can respond afterwards.
Okay.
And then they are showing that which happens very often, is one company buys loans or debts from another company, that this company, which is Wells Fargo, bought the debt from another company. So they're also attaching.
Yes. Wells Fargo is actually the original lender.
So there is no assignment?
No.
At all?
No.
Okay. well, then that's, I thought you had said that in your motion. I apologize. So they're saying obviously you took out money from them, and you signed agreeing to pay it, and then they have a copy of your Visa card with the balance, and obviously they're saying that you haven't made good on your payment. And in summary judgment, what I'm looking, is there a genuine issue of material fact to get past a motion for summary judgment based on your response to the summary judgment? So you're not telling me that you didn't, and I'm not, once again, I'm not asking you to comment on it, that the normal...
All right, so she's saying that she needs a material fact. There's something that's irrefutable. Let's let her continue.
Defenses would be, I didn't take out the money, or they in no way can prove that I took out the money, or I paid the money back, or something of that nature. So that's what I guess what I'm looking for you to address. Okay. What issues of material fact have you been able to show that there is?
Okay.
All right. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, you see how much information this judge is giving him? If you was the attorney on the other side, what would you say?
Objection.
Oh, hell yeah. She's telling him what to tell her. She's actually helping him. Like, I was listening, I said, what? She's telling him what to say, basically. But let's see how he responds.
Okay, the material fact is I can't cross-examine pieces of paper that they put in as evidence. It's nobody with first-hand knowledge presenting this information. It's nobody swearing in under penalty of perjury about the factual, the factual nature of these documents. It's no, it's like, it's just it's like pieces of paper that they brought in, and they're saying that, hey, this is true. I don't know none of these people, native poor. I never heard of them. I never had any dealings with them. And
it's the law firm. It's just the law firm.
Right. But it's no first-hand witness here. I'm the only first-hand witness here, and it's like I can't cross-examine anybody. There's nobody here for me to cross-examine but the piece of paper that they put in evidence.
All right, Mr. Thompson, if this case went to trial,
right?
Okay, let me tell you how, because all of these credit card cases are exactly the same. Okay. They would bring in a person that was the business record custodian of these records. And basically she would say, yes, I work for Wells Fargo, and it is my job to keep the records that are kept in the regular course of our business. And Miss Engel would show her these records, and she would say, do you keep these in your regularly conducted business? Yes. Is this? Is this? And that's all they need to do to put this into evidence. They're not going to have the person that you sat across from at the desk and perhaps signed something. So that's because there's really no cross-examination, even at a trial of credit card, except you can ask the business records custodian. It's different than a criminal case where you have the right to confront the witnesses against you. There are no witnesses. There's paper trail. If your affidavit stated that wasn't me, I didn't take out that money, then you get past the motion for summary judgment because you've raised an issue.
You hear what she just said?
She gave him the out.
Right. Like she's telling him. That's the second time she told him. Second time. But let's keep going.
Of material fact. You have to give me a fact that says why this is not true. And that's what the affidavit is for. Okay. And then if we go to trial, then you could testify and tell me that's not my signature, I didn't take out that money, or I repaid that debt, or whatever it may be. Those are the facts you need to give me.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay. Now, with the information they provided, the alleged information, evidence, they then provide a ledger starting from zero and accounting. Any balance ledger. It's like, whether they, where do they get the numbers from? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how can I, they didn't verify any of the information that these numbers that they putting up. They didn't verify any of that information. No.
You see how he keep going down the rabbit hole? There was no need to bring up the zero ledger. That's something you bring up when you if you go to trial, right? Where's the proof that from zero that this is accurate, right? But if you're coming in claiming that it's not you, it's not your signature, which it's not because it's a copy, it's not your signature. They need to get that original. And then they need to prove that you did all of those transactions. They have a lot to think. The evidence, the evidence, the preponderance of the evidence, and the burden of proof is on the plaintiff to prove he did it. So if he sits there and say that's not me, not mine, and all that, they would have to go through a whole lot of trouble to prove that. And like she said, nobody's going to come in there and testify and do anything. It's just paper. She's basically telling them. But see, he's trying to win the whole thing now. So this is a summary judgment here. If they can't win that part, they go to trial. And now you start asking for evidence, do discovery, interrogatories, things like that. Now you're in it. But with the amount, this kind of money we're talking about right now, these guys are not going to keep pursuing what is like $9 grand. They're paying the lawyers probably more than that for that. You see? Right. There's nobody that's gonna come to court. They see them. The burden of proof is on them. Steve, thanks. He said nobody can say they seen him fill out that application now. The burden of proof is on them. He is absolutely right. That's why you deny everything right out. You deny that. That's not me. You make him prove it. But let's finish.
Let me ask Ms. Engel, where in your complaint and attached documents does it show the amount that was paid and the amount that is owed?
Okay, so we have the affidavit and the complaint. They both have the statement. So the last page has the statement from Wells Fargo that was sent to Mr. Thompson. And in fact, it's the same address where he was served for this lawsuit. And it says there the total amount due. And there was never really a debt dispute or any letter saying this is not what I owe or I dispute this debt or anything that would trigger us to go ahead and send the 200.
That's not true. He did dispute this debt right out the gate. He did. That's not true. See, that lawyer doesn't have all the information. All right, let's keep going.
100 or 300 or 400 pages with statements and disclosure. So that's so if that's what he, needed, then that should have been raised before. But even the affidavit doesn't dispute the debt. So we just have nothing really to go, to provide that information that we would have been happy to provide. But that statement, it has his account number, it has his name and address, and it shows there the total amount due.
They keep saying that's his. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. They keep saying that's his statement and he's not objecting. Well, no, it's not mine. He's letting that grow. You gotta shut stuff like that down.
And that is correct, Mr. Thompson. She doesn't have to produce all of your credit card statements for the last 3 years. Basically, she needs to, that's the amount that's owed and the amount that's due. And the origination of where you promised, the contract that you made, that you said that you will pay whatever is due and outstanding.
No, Your Honor, I'm not asking for the statements. I'm just like a verifiable ledger, like a balance from zero. Can they show, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm just saying
Mr. Thompson, you should be able to go on your computer and go into the Wells Fargo, your credit card account, and see all of your statements and see exactly what was charged. I know I can do that with my credit card.
Yes, and I raised this in my affidavit. I raised the point that we're talking about now. I did raise it, even though.
But that's not something that they have to prove. They don't have to show a ledger of every time you've made a payment or every time. They need to say, this is the amount that's owed, and you haven't paid it. And once again, if you are disputing that amount, then you need to raise in your affidavit, that is not the amount. That is, forget about what they're having to do. You need to be able to show there's an issue of fact that this is not the correct amount. Okay. This is the amount that's actually due. Give me a fact or something sworn to that's saying that this is not correct.
That's what I'm asking from them, Your Honor. Something.
Yeah, right. But you're asking. They've done what they need to do, Mr. Thompson, to lay out a prima facie case. Trust me, Ms. Engel has done thousands and thousands of these cases. She knows exactly the A, B's, and C's, and I see this 10 times a day. I'm telling you, and I really appreciate the fact that you filed the affidavit, and and that's why we have small claims. You shouldn't need to hire an attorney. So I'm telling you, if you want to defeat or get past the summary judgment, you've got to give me something that is going to defeat it, and you haven't. Okay. If you tell me there's something else and you need a few additional days, I have no problem giving you time to file a supplemental affidavit, and I'll reset the hearing, but you've got to file something based along the lines of what I'm saying.
Okay.
Judge, also, we still have the opportunity if he wants to try to settle. If that's an option, I don't mind if you want to wait 30 days to sign the judgment. If he wants to discuss, he can give me his phone number and he can go here. And, we're open to working things out if he's able to. So I just don't.
Yes, I know. And I appreciate that.
I'll file a supplemental, Your Honor. Okay,
so let's reset this for, let's do 2 weeks. Today is the...
Basically, you're going to file a supplemental in response. And that you see the lawyer was like, oh, we'll work something out, because she knows. The judge just gave him all of his win. And attorneys are so afraid of judges. They're scared. See, this is why you don't want an attorney. Because imagine her representing you, and you got a judge actually leading the defendant on how to win the case. Usually it's the other way around. But in this case, this is a pretty good judge. She's telling him, oh, your affidavit needs to say this, and then we done. But he wasn't getting it. But he drilled it home. So they basically rescheduled it. Let's finish hearing the rest of it, and then we'll go on to the rest of the webinar.
Second, so how about discuss about? So that's why I'd like to, if we set it today. Yep.
Actually, definitively say either he owes it or not. Do he owe it? If he doesn't owe it, he's got to say, I do not owe the money. And that is not his signature. That's what he has to specifically say.
What I was going to say is it probably was very difficult to see it through all of the arguing. It's very hard to see the truth when you're looking at all of the arguing, because that's all you can see is what's not going right. What happened was you was put in a state of rest where your mind can only focus on your health. So you couldn't see all of the other stuff. You were focused on your health. And because you were focused on your health and he was focusing on your health, that's when you was able to see the beauty of whether he loved you or not. That's crazy though, because it's kind of crazy that it takes something real tragic for you to really see the truth of a person. Isn't that weird that things got to get really bad and say, okay, now, because at that point, ain't nobody arguing. You just like, oh, she's sick and we got to do something about this. Everybody's in heightened panic mode. Let's take care of this. Let's get you back to your health. No one's thinking about whether they're going to be right or wrong. We just talking about this health issue. And that's the truth, because that's when you really see who you really got in your corners, when you really need that person, when you have to rely on them and you can't do for yourself. That's when you see the truth.
Peace. What's up? How's everybody doing? Turn this music down. Yeah, who we got in the chat? Yeah, I was playing an old webinar, debt collector. That listening to that recording was kind of excruciating because the judge was like telling him, "Hey, you need to tell me, you just tell me this." Like, you don't usually get that type of help from judges, you know. You usually don't. But he didn't catch it. Unfortunately, he was so stuck on. Let me get the ledger. You don't need the ledger. She and just so you understand and put it into context, what was being said is when he says the ledger, because they have to prove how the debt was created from zero under general principles of accounting principles. You got to show, okay, it started off here and this is how he got there. You know, they just can't give you a general statement, hey, you owe this. You know, you're trying to prove that a debt is owed. So I can't remember exactly because he had to go to court. I can't remember exactly how everything turned out. That was back in 2021. Okay. This is Monday's show, Q&A show, where you get to ask questions, whether you do it by way of chat, do it on Telegram. The Telegram link is going to go into the chat for you guys if you want to get on and ask questions. But you know, tomorrow's election, or the election where the general public goes in and pick the people that they want. And I thought it would be appropriate to really show you. I read the Constitution to show you that the Electoral College is responsible. The electors, Electoral College, are responsible for picking the president. So this general election that they're having tomorrow is all for show. It's like you go in there, punch a button, boom, boom, and they tally up the numbers. But the people who really decide the president, who is going to be the president, is these electors that are chosen, that are picked. Have you ever remember voting for an elector to elect the president? When did that election take place? Because in some states, a lot of these states, they vote these electors in, and you don't even know when they're doing the voting. But I'm gonna read something that kind of breaks all this down. So frequently asked questions about, the Electoral College, and it'll clear some of that up. So let me share the screen. Let me see something here. Before I get to that. Let's see. That's not what I want. Oh, this here. This is what I want. Let me make this a little bit smaller. All right. I don't even think I got my right camera on. Hang on. I just realized that. Which camera am I on? What source of my camera? Oh, that's right. Then why did give me this one? Hang on. That was giving me a different camera. Oh, we're not gonna worry about it. All right. So the Electoral College frequently asked question: what is the Electoral College? Every 4 years, voters elect a group of electors whose only purpose is to elect the president and vice president. This group of electors is known as the Electoral College. So they're saying every 4 years, voters elect a group of electors. When did you ever vote for electors? When did you do this? You know, the next question is who is the one voting for the electors? That's the question I want to know. I'll get to that. How was the Electoral College created? The founding fathers established the Electoral College in Article 2, Section 1, which I read a couple of weeks ago, of the Constitution as a compromise between elections of the president by a vote in Congress and election by a popular vote of the whole citizenry. It was designed to safeguard against undue influence by small groups and to ensure that states with larger populations did not overpower or overshadow states with smaller populations. What is the makeup of the Electoral College? The total number of electors is 538. Each state is assigned a number of electors equal to its 2 Senate seats plus the number of seats in the House of Representatives. Per the 23rd Amendment, the District of Columbia is allotted 3 electoral votes. Alabama, which has 2 senators and 7 congressional representatives, is allotted 9 electoral votes. How are the electors chosen? Generally, the parties either nominate slates of potential electors at their state party conventions, or they choose the electors by vote of the party's central committee. By a vote of the party's central committee. So all of the people that's voting for these electors are in this club. The Senate, congressmen, they're voting their friends or whoever they want to elect the president. According to the Constitution, no member of Congress or any person holding the office of trust or profit under the United States, such as members of the cabinet, can serve as an elector. Electors may be state elected officials, state party leaders, or people in the state that have personal or political affiliation with their party's presidential candidate. Well, basically, friends. They just can't they can't be a member of Congress or holding an office of trust or profit under the United States. Why are the names of the candidates on the ballot and not the names of why are the names of the candidates on the ballot and not the names of the electors? The names of the electors may or may not appear on the ballot depending on the procedure in each state. In Alabama, the names of electors do not appear on the ballot. Obviously, this document comes out of Alabama that I'm reading. How does a candidate win a state's electoral votes? Voters in each state choose electors by casting a vote for the presidential candidate of their choice. The slate winning the most popular votes is the winner. Only 2 states, Nebraska and Maine, do not follow this winner-take-all method. In those states, electoral votes are proportionally allocated. So we had 2 elections where the popular vote didn't matter. So that means that the Electoral College chose the president despite one example is Hillary Clinton. She beat Donald Trump by over 2 million votes on a popular vote. But the Electoral College went and voted him in. They put him in office. So really, when people say, all these people that are at odds with each other about, their candidate and who's this and that, who votes, like somebody vote for Donald Trump when he became president, they're blaming them. You voted for that idiot. No, yeah, they may have voted, but it wasn't that made him the president. It was the Electoral College because they wanted him to win. Right? Only 2 states, Nebraska and Maine, do not follow this winner-take-all method. In those states, Electoral votes are proportionally allocated. Now, I think when Donald Trump won, we just came out of 8 years of Obama. You know, a so-called black man was in office. And to me, the country rather had Trump be the president than a woman at that time. And you know what I find, just a little side thinking, what I find interesting. There was 2 or 3 other white women who went for this office, for these positions. One, you know, early in the 80s, I think it was a white woman. She went to be the vice president. She lost. Then it was Sarah Palin and what's his name? I think he passed now. They lost. This is I'm not going to give like my detailed thought on this. This country, this is why I believe this country really never liked their liked their women. Like white men really didn't like their women because they refused to help their women become vice president and president in the past. And now we have what they called her a black woman. That's up for debate, right? I'm not here to question all of that. And it's a good chance she might get elected. Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, you know, like that, like very first woman president is so-called black woman. Like I said, that is up for debate. It just shows you, like I used to, you know, you ever watch horror movies? Horror movies, and it shows you the mindset of a certain demographic of men. Their women always fall in and they get drugged and have the most gruesome murders against them on screen. Now, if you really love your daughters and your sisters, would you show that to the people, how your woman is just ravaged by some monster? Gives you insight on the mindset. Sounds like a little jealousy. And you gotta remember, some of them damn founding fathers was wearing dresses back in the day. They might be jealous of their women. Let me stop it. They will definitely cancel this show because I'm bringing out some obvious things that people don't pay attention to or even think about. Think about it. You know the horror movies. Who's the first person to get killed in the horror movies and get sliced and diced and all of that craziness? So for somebody to actually make a film and show that's in their mind. That's how they view. That's what they want to see. People paying millions of dollars to go see films of women getting murdered. I'm gonna wake up and see what's really going on. So this whole gender identity is about a certain group of men wanting to be able to be in there, you know, be on the same level. Let me stop. Let me stop. That's a little off topic. All right. Where was I? I think I scrolled a little bit too much. Generally, the parties either nominate slates of potential electors at their state party conventions, or they choose electors by vote of party central committee. Political parties often choose electors to recognize their service and dedication to that particular party. So they basically picking their friends. And you know their friends are being influenced to do what? To vote a certain way. According to the Constitution, no member of Congress or any person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States, such as members of the cabinet, can serve as an elector. Electors may be state elected officials, state party leaders, or people in the state that have personal political affiliation with their party's presidential candidate. Why are the names of the candidate? I read this too. How does a candidate win a state's electoral votes? Voters in each state choose electors by casting a vote for the presidential candidate of their choice. The slate winning the most, the state, winning the most popular votes is the winner. Only 2 states, Nebraska and Maine, do not follow the winner-take-all method. In those states, electoral votes are proportionally allocated. Can a candidate win the electoral vote but lose the popular vote? Yes. With most states following winner-take-all approach, it is possible for a candidate to win the electoral vote but lose the nationwide popular vote. There have been 4 elections in which the person elected president won the electoral vote but lost the popular vote. 1886, 1876, 1888, 2000. 2000 was Al Gore and Bush. 2016, that was Clinton. What happens if no candidate wins a majority of electoral votes? If no candidate receives a majority of the electoral votes, the House of Representatives elects the president from the 3 candidates who received the most electoral votes. Each state delegation has 1 vote. The Senate elects the vice president from the 2 vice presidential candidates with the most electoral votes. Each senator casts 1 vote. The House of Representatives have chosen the president twice. During the elections of 1800 and 1824, the Senate had chosen a vice president only once, during the election of 1836. How many electoral votes are necessary to win the presidential election? 270. In order to become president, a candidate must win more than half of the votes in the Electoral College. When does the Electoral College meet? The meeting of the electors takes place on the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December, following the presidential election. The electors meet in their respective states, usually at the state capitol building. The electors individually cast their vote for president on one ballot and their vote for vice president on another. The votes of the electors are recorded on a certificate of vote, which is then sent to the Congress and the National Archives as part of the official records of the presidential election. So that's when the vote really happens. That's when the president is really picked and certified. The Monday after the second Wednesday in December following presidential election. So this year, if that's the case, hold on. Let me pull up a calendar. So, and here's the thing. So it's the Monday after the second Wednesday, right? So we got both. So it would be the 16th of December by what I'm looking at here. So, just by what I'm reading here, let me just keep reading, then I'll give my thoughts. Are the electors bound to vote the way they pledged? No. There is no constitutional provision or federal law that requires electors to vote according to the results of the popular votes in their respective states. However, there are 29 states, including Alabama, which do have laws binding their electors to vote according to the popular vote results. So they're saying there's 28 states that have a binding law. Has an elector ever voted for a candidate different from the one in whom they are pledged? Yes, despite legal oversight, there has been 167 electors who have not cast their votes for the candidates who they were designated to represent. However, no elector has ever changed the outcome of an election by changing or abstaining from their designated vote. How are the votes of Electoral College counted? Each state's electoral votes are counted in a joint session of Congress on January 6th, in the year following the meeting of the electors. Members of the House and Senate meet in the House chamber to conduct the official tally of electoral votes. The Vice President, who serves as President of the Senate, presides over the count and announces the results of the vote. So if it's not official until January 6th, then how do they certify that somebody's going to be a president in November? How do they say that person is the president-elect? So they're already pre-picking who they have any. You're saying that this person is going to be the president before they even do the actual count. I already said. Let me put my camera. Hold on. I already said that they did not obligated to pick the popular vote of their state. They're not. They can't get in no trouble. Any trouble. So that sounds fixed to me. That sounds like a fixed system to me. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Sounds rigged. What do y'all think about what I just read? Because for me, if I'm a staunch voter, I'm into this thing. If I'm that type of person and I read this, I would be confused at the least. I would be like, what? Wait a minute. Y'all been got me thinking that I'm gonna hit down here on the second Tuesday on I mean I think it's the first Tuesday of the November to go make this vote, and you mean to tell me that is not what determines who the president's going to be? I still gotta what I want is hanging in the balance on people y'all are friends with that y'all picked as elector. I didn't have a choice in picking these electors. That's gonna say who the president is. It's like one big club. It's a club, and you ain't part of it. You're not. I mean, that's just harsh reality. And to me, to get all worked up on who's going to be the president is a waste of time. Because whoever's going to get in there, I mean, if you look at the history of this country, the budget is the deficit keeps rising, no matter who's in there, right? So that means that's what it's supposed to be doing. The debt's supposed to rise. We're supposed to always have economic troubles, because without there's something that potentially needs to be fixed, what do we need government for? So basically, problems gotta be to keep this country running. Problems gotta exist. So the question is, are these problems manufactured or not? That's the question. I'm not here to say they already aren't, but what we need with all of this government oversight if there aren't any problems? So to keep yourself relevant, you got to make sure you got a law and you got problems being created. There you have it. The electors that have chosen are people that's a part of that party affiliation. And California got like 54 electoral votes. I think they got the most out of all the states. California had like 50 something. And I think New York runs right next to them at 28, 29. There was a list. I had how states had it. So, it's just something to think about. Let's go to the chat. Then I'm gonna shut it down. Look like y'all ain't got no questions, so I'm gonna shut it down. Fred Mitchell has a thumbs up. Peace to you, brother. Peace, Akeem, and those seeking peace. Yes, peace back to you, brother. Discipleship Ministry says peace, he says, I don't know, he must be talking to somebody else, sister. My brother, he corrected that. Okay, thank you. Peace, Fred Mitchell said again. Hindsight. That's the link to the Telegram. Luke and Apple says, peace to God and much light to all. And somebody said, I was just looking at this today, what I was just reading. Peace, power, and extreme wealth to all. What's up, Akeem? Peace back to you. Man, what's crazy? People think they still have a voice. Yeah, that's true. They really believe they have a voice. And for a tyrannical government, absolutely. Manufacture problem, manufacture solutions to their benefit. Absolutely. It's a game, man. It's a game, quasi-government. It's a game. That's what they're playing. They playing a game. Oh, get out, get it, register this, get it done, get everybody hyped up, get everybody hating each other because it's, you know, I don't know if it's just me. People are really emotionally charged over this election. You know, they really are. Like families are being divided because of this. I'm like, man, if you're gonna stop being part of your family because somebody's voting for one candidate over other, you a damn fool. It ain't worth it. Those people don't care. Them, listen, Trump, Kamala, they don't care about you, really. You're not in their mind. They playing a role, man. And at the end of the day, you're gonna make the same money you made yesterday after they get elected. Listen, our problems keep getting worse. Every president we get, like I said. So that means they're not trying to fix anything. They try to create more drama so they can keep making laws to fix something that didn't exist. All right, with that being said, I'm out. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everybody.